I'm going to go ahead and call the Tempe City Council regular council meeting agenda to order. Members of the public who attend the meeting physically are asked to maintain distance between other parties, and masks are optional for all attendees per City of Tempe policy. Alternatively, members of the public may attend the meeting virtually through Cisco WebEx events by visiting tempe.gov/councilmeetinginfo for more information. Council meetings can also be watched in real time via Cox Cable Channel 11 and at tempe.gov/channel 11. I'd like to invite anyone who was willing and able to join me for a moment of silence to stand, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you very much. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Next up this evening, we have item 4, meeting minutes. I'm going to be assisted tonight by Councilmember Navarro. Councilmember Navarro.
Thank you, Mayor. If I can get my thing rotated the right way.
Well, I'd say we don't.
Here we go.
Fortunately, we have nothing for item 4A, so we can go straight to 4B.
I'd like to make exception of board and commission and committee meeting minutes 4B2 through 4B6.
All right. It's been moved by Councilmember Navarro. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Oops. Aye.
Thank you very much. That item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. All right, next up, item 5, mayor's reports and announcements. I have a few, but let's see. For first 5A1, I have the United Arizona Employees Association scholarship recipients, and I'd like to call Billy Vickers up to make a presentation.
Thank you, Mayor Woods and City Council members for including us in your plans for this evening. I'm Billy Vickers Jr., the president of the United Arizona Employee Association, more commonly known as the UAEA. And you may recall last year we renamed our scholarship program in honor of longtime president of the UAEA, Jacqueline Awisica. And so we're here tonight to induct 2 new inductees into our scholarship program. And Jackie wasn't able to be here with us, but she sends a message that I wish the scholarship recipients the best in pursuing their educational goals. And the scholarship applicants were evaluated on academic achievement, an original essay of at least 1,000 words, school honors, community involvement, and extracurricular activities. Mayor Woods, I yield back to you for the announcement and presentation of our amazing UAEA 2022 Jockey Scholars.
Okay. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, Billy. So I'd like to first invite Adina and Carolyn Colea to join us for the presentation. Actually, I think I might have skipped. Did I?
It doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
Outstanding.
Sounds good, okay. So our next Jackie Scholar inductee for 2022 is Adina Colea, the daughter of city employee and UAEA member Carolyn Colea, who works in the city's Information Technology Department. Adina graduated this year from Gilbert Classical Academy with a GPA of 3.92. Adina completed 17 honors classes and 14 advanced placement college-level courses. Adina served in the student council and helped organize dance events for the school, and she acted as manager for the boys soccer team beginning in 2019. Adina volunteered at the Arizona Animal Welfare League and SPCA, where she helped with sheltered animals, socializing them, preparing diets, and feeding them. Adina has been recognized by the National Honor Society as a Golden Scholar and a Spartan Award for her contribution to the volleyball team. Adina's essay topic related to diversity and its importance in American culture. In her essay, Adina shared, as a child of 2 immigrant parents from Iran, I grew to honor my unique background as it reminded me of my family, whom I love dearly. So growing up in a society where culture and diversity were initially not celebrated was very hard for me. When I attended elementary school, everything changed. While I was a child of the 21st century, where diversity is increasingly being commemorated, the families who do not appreciate differences teach their children hurtful messages. I remember all throughout my time in elementary school and middle school, I would be called names like terrorist or member of ISIS, simply because I was of Middle Eastern descent. To make things worse, I would get bullied for having darker hair in my skin and a larger nose than the children around me. The features and history my ancestors left me were ones I used to cherish until I experienced the harsh reality of disregarded diversity. I finally understand the importance of celebrating diversity in society, especially in America. Since America is made up of millions of people from several different backgrounds, we as a nation should embrace diversity rather than ignore it. In recognition of Adina's excellent academic achievement, the UAEA inducts Adina as a Jackie Scholar and awards her a scholarship of $1,000. This fall, Adina will attend the University of Arizona, majoring in law. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I got one more.
Go for it.
All right. And the next Jackie Scholar inductee for 2022 is Javier Bermudez, the son of city employee and UAEA member Hilda Bermudez, who works in the city's police department. Javier graduated from Mcclintock High School this year with a regular GPA of 4.0 and a weighted GPA of 4.439. I didn't even know that was possible. My goodness. You want to be mayor? Seriously. Javier completed 16 classes at the honors level with straight A's. Javier also ranked within the top 3% of his class. And this is interesting. That is really weird. That is really weird.
On the cuff.
For some reason, it was missing in my packet. There we go. All right. Javier volunteered at St. Mary's Food Bank during the last year, helping to package food for those in need. He played basketball at Mcclintock, first on the freshman team, and the remaining 3 years on the varsity team. He also volunteered as a young mentor and assistant coach for the club basketball team, Arizona Gremlins, where he helped children with skill development and morale building. Javier's scholarship essay topic related to the pandemic, what he learned about himself, our country, and the world. Javier states in his conclusion, the COVID pandemic has affected everyone. People have lost jobs, loved ones, relationships, and a lot more due to a virus that could have been contained in the first place. We can't change how we handled the past, but we can change how we handle the future. We have to come together as a community, state, and nation to combat the pandemic and get back to full strength. The pandemic can't be fought by just a group of people, but rather by a united front. In recognition of Javier's stellar performance, the UAEA inducts Javier as a Jackie Scholar and awards him a scholarship of $1,000. Javier leaves on July 5th to attend the U.S. Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mayor Wood. Thank you. Pleasure to see you.
Thank you, too.
getting his steps in.
All right. Next up, we have the Save Soil Proclamation. So I'd like to invite the folks who have those amazing green T-shirts to come on up. So I've got a proclamation here on behalf of Save Soil Month, and it goes like this. Whereas Save Soil is a global movement launched by Sagaru, uniting world leaders, visionaries, influencers, and citizens of all nations behind a common purpose to restore and safeguard the world's soil. And whereas Save Soil is a joint initiative of Conscious Planet Incorporated and Isha Foundation, Inc., both 501c3 nonprofits registered in Tennessee and is supported by UNCCD, UNEP, IUCN, WFP, and other eminent institutions. And whereas Save Soil aims to address the global soil crisis, recognizing that 52% of the world's agricultural soils are already degraded. And by 2050, 90% of Earth's soil could be degraded. And whereas the proposed solution is to advocate for policies across all nations to increase organic content in agricultural soil to a minimum of 3 to 6%, and aims to inspire over 3.5 billion people worldwide, which is 60% of the world's voting population, to support this cause. And whereas in an effort to raise awareness and activate support from leaders and citizens alike, Sadhguru is currently on a 30,000-kilometer journey as a lone motorcyclist covering 27 nations in 100 days through March 21st through June 21st, 2022. And whereas addressing soil degradation issues would bring solutions for the nutritional deficiencies, food security, water shortages, adverse climate changes, loss of biodiversity, and mass migration. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, urge all citizens to participate in creating bright futures for our children and the future of our planet. So I hereby declare June 2022 as Save Soil Month in Tempe, Arizona. You want to come down for a photo? Come on down. Was that for me?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And I will give this to you.
Go ahead, hold it.
Thank you.
Hold it straight. In the photo. Hold it straight. There you go.
Perfect.
He's upset about soil degradation. They're gonna join us. Oh, okay, that's good. Thank you.
I got the shirt on yourself.
No.
Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Say so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, is it? I think.
All right, next up, I have a proclamation for Pride Month. Whereas the city of Tempe is deeply committed to equality for all, and whereas the LGBTQ+ community has fought tirelessly for equality and the rights and protections they deserve at home, at work, and in the public. And whereas the fight for LGBTQ equality continues across Arizona, the United States, and the entire world, and the city of Tempe is a committed partner in this effort. And whereas in 2014, the Tempe City Council established protections for LGBTQ+ individuals from discrimination at home, work, and in public spaces, which then were enshrined by voters in 2015 in the city charter by an overwhelming majority. Since the passage of these protections, the city of Tempe has received a perfect score on the Human Rights Campaign's Municipal Equality Index. And whereas the city of Tempe has an LGBTQ+ alliance called Tempe Pride and celebrates the great diversity of our employees, including those identifying as LGBTQ+, and joins them in celebrating Pride for who they are. And whereas Tempe will proudly participate in Pride events throughout the region with dignitaries, public safety officials, and city employees all unified to support the LGBTQ+ community as they remember their history and commit to continuing the work towards true equality for all people, no matter who they are or who they love. And whereas the city of Tempe is proud to celebrate Pride with the help of the Downtown Tempe Authority, who is showing their support with special Pride flags installed on lamp posts along Mill Avenue. Now, therefore, I, Corey D. Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare June 2022 as Arizona Pride Month in Tempe, Arizona. So, little note here, we're going to have some longer speeches and comments from council a little bit later, but I wanted to make sure that as I do these in order, I wanted to ask Councilmember Arredondo Savage to come join me down here.
Shoes on, come on.
So I said, while a lot of the personal comments from council will come later, I wanted to make sure that we read this for Councilmember Arredondo Savage, and I have Councilmember Cubie right afterwards. So this is a proclamation. Whereas Tempe employees value the faith and trust of the community and continually work to deserve that confidence through attitude, conduct, service, and accomplishments. And whereas City of Tempe Councilmember Robert Arredondo Savage has set an example for others throughout her tenure and has been deeply committed to the values of honesty, fairness, and integrity. And whereas Robert Arredondo Savage has been a champion for veterans by leading the way to become the first veteran supportive city in the state, advocating for the Veteran Services Coordinator position, developing Valor on 8th and the Veterans Family Housing Project, establishing the Tempe Veterans Commission, and creating the Veterans Memorial Park. And whereas Robert Arredondo Savage worked to connect STEAM programs with youth, businesses, and community through Geeks Night Out, and collaborated on the development of the Regional Opioid Action Committee. And whereas Robert Arredondo Savage distinguished herself as a Valley Metro board member representing Tempe to support the construction of streetcar in Tempe. And whereas Robert Arredondo Savage created College Connect, a partnership with Tempe Schools, Arizona State University, University of Arizona, Northern Arizona University, and the Maricopa Community Colleges, and created the College and Career Readiness Program, which helped the city of Tempe secure an award of $1,316,715 in grant funding. And whereas the city of Tempe is grateful to Robert Arredondo Savage for her leadership, hard work, and deep commitment to the Tempe community, our employees, and visitors throughout her entire career. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare June 24th, 2022 as Robert Arredondo Savage Lifetime of Service Recognition Day in Tempe, Arizona.
Yay, Robin!
Gotta get the family up here, come on. The guys, come on in.
Notice this is tomorrow.
So let's do one with council, and then let's make sure to bring the family up. All right.
Can somebody Photoshop me in?
Yeah. This is my prom date. Come on, Beth. We got one more. Nice. Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Councilmember Cubey, don't go anywhere now. I've got yours right here. All right, here it comes. You ready? All right. This is for Councilmember Lauren Cubey. We talked about this. This is her and Councilmember Arredondo Savage's last official meeting for those who are in the audience and watching at home, and that's why we have these special proclamations this evening for them. So Councilmember Cubey's reads, whereas Tempe employees value the faith and trust of the community and continually work to deserve that confidence through attitude, conduct, service, and accomplishments. And whereas City of Tempe Councilmember Lauren Cubey has set an example for others throughout her tenure and has been deeply committed to the values of honesty, fairness, and integrity. And whereas Lauren Cubey championed the creation of the Tempe Family Justice Commission to promote access to just, safe avenues of care for victims of domestic violence, sexual assault, and sex trafficking. And whereas Lauren Cubey has led efforts for social, economic, and environmental justice, including spearheading a Tempe ballot initiative to reform corporate donations in elections and politics. And whereas Lauren Cubey advocated for humane animal welfare policies citywide, resulting in the establishment of the state of Arizona's first animal welfare specialist position in Tempe. And whereas Lauren Cubey is a recognized national champion for climate change and clean energy, and her efforts were key in creating the Office of Sustainability and Resiliency and the Tempe Sustainability Commission, which empowers residents to have a say in their city's climate policy. And whereas the City of Tempe is grateful to Lauren Cubey for her leadership, hard work, and deep commitment to the Tempe community, our employees, and visitors throughout her entire career. Now, therefore, I, Corey Woods, Mayor of the City of Tempe, Arizona, do hereby declare June 28th, 2022, as Lauren Cubey Lifetime of Service Recognition Day in Tempe, Arizona.
Thank you, everyone. You'll hear from me later.
The 28th and the 24th.
It's a proper.
Get back to him. I think I'm okay. I'll come back though. So here's the challenge. I'll just say this before turning it over to our city manager. If I'm already almost in tears about reading those proclamations, this evening's going to be a little bit challenging. So please hang in there. Please stay with us. So next up, Mr. City Manager, your announcements.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to recognize the representatives we have here from the Downtown Tempe Authority. You already mentioned them in your Pride Month proclamation, but they are here, including the President and Executive Director of Downtown Tempe Authority, Kate Borders, and a number of her staff. They're the ones dressed in the Pride t-shirts in the back. If they want to come down, be recognized. They also have distributed, I think on the dais, you can see a number of rainbow-colored roses. This has become an annual tradition during Pride Month that DTA does. To recognize Pride in Tempe and in the downtown, and we really appreciate their support for that and all that they do. And I'll note that this month, in honor of the fact that there was both the first official federal recognition and the city recognition of Juneteenth, which was just this past weekend, and Pride Month, that they went above and beyond and made sure that they had up-to-date Pride flags and Juneteenth flags flying proudly throughout the downtown, and they look amazing, and I've gotten quite a bit of very positive feedback about it, and kudos to you and your staff, Kate, for putting that together. I'll go ahead and yield if you want to say a few words.
Can I just say one quick thing, Andrew?
Yes.
I'll say about the DTA's Juneteenth celebration. It was the first time I ever got multiple messages from people that quoted the DTA's Juneteenth celebration was lit. I'm telling you, I got that several times. I wanted them to know since they're all standing right here in front of us, so.
High praise indeed.
Thank you, City Manager, Mayor and Council. It is a pleasure to be here. We have been doing this tradition of distributing the roses on a day that we pick in June for several years now. And it is amazing how a moment like that, you can really touch someone when you just say, we'd like to give you this rose in honor of Pride today. And it's unexpected, and I think people are really graced by that. We represent the Business Improvement District. I'm joined today by Chelsea Redding, Lori Foster, and Kim Demerit. So this is part of our events team who also put on that Juneteenth celebration. And we pride ourselves on doing things all year long that are demonstrating that we want to be a diverse community. We want to be welcoming to all, and this is just one example. So we believe in doing things through action, not just words, like the Juneteenth celebration, like the flags that you see outside. So thank you. We hope you enjoy your roses. If anyone would like another, we have more at the back, so we'd like to get rid of them before they are all withered. Saturday night this week is our Park After Dark celebration, and we'll also make that a Pride celebration. So come on down to the park right here next to City Hall on Saturday. Thank you. Thank you, City Manager.
Mr. City Manager, I neglected one thing, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. Just skipped over item 5A6, which is where the City of Tempe Board, Commission, and Committee reappointments and appointments. Just want to note that there are reappointments and new appointments to the City of Tempe Audit Committee, Commission on Disability Concerns, Desert Conservation Commission, Development Review Commission, Industrial Development Authority, Joint Review Committee, and Merit System Board as outlined in item 7A1 on the agenda. Mr. City Manager, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on to item 5B2, this evening we are joined by Zachary Lechner from our Historic Preservation Office. He's going to provide you a brief introduction. Go ahead. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Ambika Adhikari, Principal Planner for the Long Range Planning and Community Development. I work with Jack very closely, so I'm very honored to introduce him today. Zachary Lechner is our new Senior Planner and a Historic Preservation Officer who joined us on February 14th this year. Before joining the city, Jack served as a Historic Preservation Specialist and Planner for the North Dakota State Historic Preservation Office. In that position, he served as a co-coordinator of the National Register program in the state and oversaw the revision of the historical component of the state's 6-year preservation plan. He received a PhD in history from Temple University. He taught at various institutions, including the University of Wyoming and Centenary College of Louisiana. He has published one book and several articles and book chapters in the field of history. He's more of an academic plus historian. His office is located near the HP conference room in the community development in the garden level. We're really happy to have him. He will say a few words about himself. Jack?
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you very much for having me with you this evening. Dr. Adhikari mentioned, yes, I'm coming most recently from North Dakota. So I was enjoying the heat until a couple of hours ago, and then monsoon season started, which is not a surprise for someone who spent some time living in North Carolina, where every rain feels like a monsoon, it seems like. We've obviously had the opportunity to speak a little bit during a recent e-session and work together on an issue which I enjoyed very much. And so I'll very much enjoy working with you, in the months and years ahead, I'm sure. As Dr. Adhikari mentioned, I have a background not just in historic preservation, but at academia. And so obviously as an academic, you're trained to do research and to publish. But also as an academic, we're trained to teach and to educate. And particularly as someone who worked at a variety of institutions, including a community college, I really value the opportunity to teach the public not just about history, but in this role, obviously about the importance of historic preservation. And so I see myself as an advocate for historic preservation here in the city of Tempe, and I very much look forward to carrying out that role with your assistance moving forward. So thank you very much, and thank you very much for the position, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak with you this evening.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Welcome. Mr. City Manager.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Moving on, we have a brief presentation from staff regarding stormwater management capital improvement program, specifically at Watson Drive and Bernardin Lane.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Julian Dresang, Deputy Engineering and Transportation Director and City Engineer. I'm excited today to introduce you to Greg Kent. He's a Principal Civil Engineer for the city and oversees our bridge inspection program, our storm drain program, and as well as our CIP design. And so he's gonna give a brief presentation about our stormwater program and then be able to answer any questions you might have. So, Greg?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm here to present, as Julie mentioned, on our Watson Drive and Bernardin Lane storm drain project under our storm drain management program. We believe this program best fits under the safe and secure communities, protecting the safety and protecting the safety of the public and property through flood protection measures. Our program's first 5 construction projects are based on and were ranked by our storm drain management study, which we completed in 2019, which prioritized our top storm drainage improvement needs across the city. The study also provided research and background to be successful in applying for Maricopa County Flood Control District grants, which we have been successfully obtained over $4 million in matching grant funds, and we will continue to apply for these funds into the future. We will also have the opportunity to look for more funding and add green stormwater components to some of these projects through the Resilient Tempe Master Plan process in the next 2 years. The Watson Drive, Bernardin Lane project is the first project we applied for and received grant funding through the Flood Control District, Maricopa County. The project area is located between Baseline Road and Guadalupe Road, between Rural Road and Kyrene Road on the east. As part of the 2019 storm drain management study, go ahead and do that. There you go, that one. This map shows a concentrated areas of potential flood hazard, using a sophisticated hydraulic model. The highlighted yellow and green locations on the map represent the level or size of storm that could potentially cause flooding. Okay, next. The 2019 study also ranked our top potential projects. This project was ranked number 4 among the 15 locations recommended for flood mitigation. This project was ranked also number 1 among recommended projects based on size and estimated cost, which qualified it for the Flood Control District Small Project Assistance Program grant, or SPAP, with a maximum matching funding amount of $500,000. City staff submitted this project in October 2019 and was awarded the $500,000 matching grant in January 2020. As noted, the goal of the project is to reduce the risk of flooding in that neighborhood. The solution we identified was to install approximately 1,100 feet of 24-inch storm drain between Rural Road and College Avenue, moving excess storm water west to an existing storm drain system near Kiwanis Park. Here is an illustration of the proposed storm drain alignment, 24-inch pipe in the red and white, which extends along the El Paso multi-use path from Rural Road to Forest Avenue near Kiwanis Park. Where we're at today with this project is we are currently at 90% design and anticipated final design by the midsummer of 2022, and anticipates construction beginning early fall 2022 and construction completed by June 2023. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Greg. Really appreciate it. I don't have any council members have any questions? Sounds good.
Great,
Excellent.
thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Thank you, Greg. Thank you, Julian. Appreciate it. All right, Mr. City Manager.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Next is sort of a heads-up type announcement. We are going to be soon awarding for the Tempe Municipal Operations Center, which is a city development of space just off of Rio Salado Parkway, adjacent to the EVBOM, the East Valley Bus Operation Maintenance Center, for a number of municipal uses. That award of that contract, we anticipate will happen during the period of time where there are no council meetings in July. So our last regular meeting is tonight. We have a swearing-in meeting on Friday, next Friday the 1st, and then our next council meeting isn't until August 18th. As a result, what we are doing, and we want you to know because it is a large contract for the construction of that site, is that we will approve it administratively for a ratification to occur at your first regular meeting in August. We do this fairly often when these sorts of periods arise where we have to move quickly to secure the price and to get the contract done. But given the significance of this particular contract, we wanted to let you know in a public meeting that this is happening so that there's no confusion about why it would be coming to you as a ratification. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Any comments or questions from council? Hearing none.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Yes, I'd like to exercise a brief point of privilege to, I don't have anything to add to your very well said proclamations regarding council members Aradana Savage and Councilmember Cubey, other than I have had the personal pleasure of being able to work with and serve each of them in their capacities as council members for 3 terms for Councilmember Aradana Savage and for 2 terms for Councilmember Cubey. And I don't think I'm telling any tales out of school to say that they are different people with different approaches, and I mean that in the very best way. But what I have been struck by in thinking and reflecting over the last few days about tonight and into the future is what is less important at the end of this period, and they're leaving the council with their legacy of service, is not how they are different, but how they are similar. And the way they are similar, in my mind, is that they are so deeply imbued with such a great love for this community and such a great sense of duty and service to this community. It doesn't matter about the differences. What's important is they came to this council to serve the city of Tempe and the community that is the city of Tempe, and they have done so with such honor and distinction. I've just been awed by being able to sit where I sit on this dais and to work with them continuously over that period of time. And we are certainly going to miss them here. I think that's fair to say, but I wish them nothing but the best. And I'm just really, was very blessed and privileged to have the opportunity to work with both of you, so thank you.
Thank you. Excellent. Thank you so much, Andrew. Appreciate it. Next up, we have item number 6, public appearances. According to the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the City Council may only discuss matters listed on the agenda for discussion and legal action. The purpose of the open call to the public is to allow individuals to address the City Council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the City Council. Public appearances shall be limited to an aggregate total of 60 minutes. No person shall speak more than once, and there is a limit of 3 minutes per speaker. Speakers present at the podium must state their name and city of residence and provide a speaker card. Members of the public shall refrain from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks and from becoming boisterous while addressing the City Council or while attending the meeting. Speakers will be taken first come, first serve in the order in which the cards are received. Speakers choosing not to appear in person or virtually may provide their written comments to the council prior to the meeting for their review. Speakers' visual aids and appearances by phone or recordings are not allowed. Council members are prohibited by state law from taking action on, commenting, or discussing a matter raised by a member of the public, even if asked to do so by a member of the public, so long as the subject discussed by the speaker is not listed as a specific agenda item for council's consideration for discussion and legal action. At the conclusion of public appearances, the council may ask the city manager to review a matter or place a matter on a future agenda. I got my speaker card here. Right here, I've got Josh Wells. Good to see you again, Mr. Wells. please come forward, state your name and place of residence. You have 3 minutes to address the city council.
Hello, my name is Josh Wells. I live in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm here today representing Central Arizona for a Sustainable Economy, also known as CASE. I want to start off, I meant to come up here very angry and agitated, but somebody gave me a flower, so it just softened me up a little bit. So y'all got the good side of me today. So I am here speaking in concern of the 250 Real project happening. It's item 8B1. This is another project, part of a concerning trend that we've seen around government property lease excise taxes or tax abatements, this one being an 8-year abatement that this project is asking for what is predominantly office space, and that's 14 stories of office space. Now, what they are providing in terms of things in addition to the project are good. You know, that $100,000 donation to the Affordable Housing Trust is very positive. Their donation to schools is very positive. But in terms of what Tempe needs and what its residents need, 14 stories of office space is not going to solve our housing crisis. People need real direct solutions to these things, and especially if we're going to be giving large tax abatements to companies, to developers, it should be projects that directly impact the community in a very positive way. So I ask that the council really take time to look over these agreements, really take time to thoroughly review them, show concern about the way we move forward, because as I mentioned earlier today, I want Tempe to move forward in the most positive direction for all of its residents and for people in the valley at large. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Mr. Wells. Really appreciate it. Good seeing you. That is the only card that I have this evening. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to address the city council? Please get my attention. All right. Seeing none, I will go ahead and close the public portion of this meeting and move on to item number 7, which is the consent agenda. All items listed on the consent agenda will be considered as a group and will be enacted with one motion by the City Council unless an item is removed for separate consideration. Members of the public may remove public hearing items for separate consideration. Public hearing items are designated as public hearing item at the beginning of the item title. Council members may remove any item for separate consideration or to declare a conflict of interest. If a council member would like to declare a conflict at this time, the city clerk will provide the council member with a disclosure form. If you wish to speak on a public hearing item, please fill out a speaker card and submit your completed card to the city clerk prior to the agenda item coming forward for council discussion. I will call your name when it is your turn for public comment. So the consent agenda this evening are miscellaneous items 7A1 through 7A15, awards of bids and contracts, items 7B1 through 7B14, and resolutions, items 7C1 through 7C8. Any agenda item designated as public hearing item can be removed by a member of the public for separate consideration. If anyone would like to have a public hearing item removed, please get my attention now. All right, seeing none, I will ask the clerk, were there any comments received from the public?
None at this time.
Thank you, Kara. Council, any other agenda items that you'd like to remove from the consent agenda for separate consideration? Councilmember Cubey.
No.
Oh, okay. Sounds good. Well, hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Cubey. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. All right. All right, now moving on to item number 8, which is the non-consent agenda. All items listed on the non-consent agenda will be considered separately. Agenda items scheduled for introduction and first public hearing will be heard, but will not be voted upon at this meeting. Agenda items scheduled for second public hearing and final adoption will be voted upon tonight. Council members who may have a conflict of interest may abstain from voting on a matter, and the city clerk will provide the council members with a disclosure form at this time. The first item under the section is 8A1, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the adoption of the updated City of Tempe Historic Preservation Plan. The applicant is the City of Tempe. Council, any comments or discussion? If not, I look for a motion on item 8A1. Moved by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A2, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the approval of Smith Innovation Hub design guidelines dated June 2022. The Smith Innovation Hub generally encompasses the lands bounded by University Drive, Price Road, Rio Salado Parkway, and Mcclintock Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe. Council, any comments or discussion? Now I'll look for a motion to approve item 8A2.
So moved.
Been moved by Councilmember Cubie and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A3, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the approval of Maker District design guidelines dated June 2022. The Maker District generally encompasses the lands bounded by Southern Avenue, Kyrene Road, Broadway Road, and Priest Drive. The applicant is the City of Tempe. Council, any comments or discussion? Okay, do I have a motion on item 8A3?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Cubie, seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
You can do it. And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A4, which is to approve one-year contract renewals with All City Towing Incorporated, Apache Sands Service Center Incorporated, and Professional Towing and Recovery LLC for vehicle towing services utilized by the police and municipal utilities departments. Council, any comments or discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion on item 8A4?
Second.
Moved by Councilmember Arredondo Savage, seconded by Councilmember Cubie. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A5, which is to approve the utilization of a 5-year Sourcewell cooperative contract with Axon Enterprise Incorporated for the lease purchase of 370 TASER electronic control devices and related gear for the police department. Council, any comments or discussion? Been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A6, which is to approve the annual excess insurance renewal program for fiscal year 2022-2023 to include the following insurance coverages: property, workers' compensation, environmental pollution, fiduciary liability, and foreign travel insurance purchased through the city's insurance broker, Alliant Insurance Services Incorporated. Council, any comments or discussion? Hearing none, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Councilmember Cubie, seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A7, which is to approve the utilization of an 8-month Omnia Partners Cooperative contracts with CDW Government LLC and SHI International Corporation for the purchase of software licensing, technology products, support, and services. Council, any comments or discussion? Do I have a motion? It's been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Cubie. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A8, which is to approve a 1-year contract renewal with Express Scripts Incorporated, who will provide pharmacy benefits management services for eligible city employees and their dependents to be administered by the Human Resource Department. Council, any comments or discussion?
Nope.
Been moved by Councilmember Navarro, seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under this section is 8A9, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the Memorandum of Understanding between the Tempe Officers Association and the City of Tempe, effective July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2027. Council, any comments or discussion? It's been moved by Councilmember Arredondo Savage and seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A10, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing the Memorandum of Understanding between the Firefighters Union and the City of Tempe, effective July 1st, 2022 to June 30th, 2025. Council, any comments or discussion? Been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A11, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing a maximum dollar amount for an individual job order of up to $2.6 million for the purpose of procuring construction services for the US 60 emergency freeway repairs at Mcclintock Drive. Council, any comments or discussion? Okay, it's been moved by Councilmember Navarro, seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A12, which is to ratify job order number 11 to FPS Civil LLC for the US 60 emergency freeway repairs at Mcclintock Drive project. Council, any comments or discussion? It's expensive, and thank you to our team is what was set up here.
So moved.
So moved by Councilmember Cubie. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8A13, which is to adopt a resolution authorizing a maximum dollar amount for an individual job order of up to $3 million for the purpose of procuring construction services for the US 60 emergency water transmission main repairs, Mcclintock Drive. Council, any comments or discussion? We see a theme here. It's been moved by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Navarro. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The last item under the section is 8A14, which is to ratify job order number 12 to FPS Civil LLC for the US 60 emergency water transmission main repairs at Mcclintock Drive project. Once again, seeing a theme. Council, any comments or discussion, or do I have a motion? Been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
Councilmember Garland, quick on the draw there. That passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next section on the non-consent agenda is ordinances and items for introduction and first hearing. These items will be read and introduced tonight, but no vote will be taken. The second hearing and vote for these items is scheduled for August 18th, 2022. Only item under the section actually tonight is item 8B1, which is to introduce and hold the first public hearing to adopt an ordinance approving a development and disposition agreement for developer-owned real property located at 250 West Rio Salado Parkway and authorizing the mayor to execute a development agreement, one or more deeds, leases, and related documents with 250 Rio Owner LLC to effect such transaction. I see Maria Lochner and Manjula Vaz coming up. Would you like to give a presentation?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, for your record, my name is Manjula Vaz, law firm Gamage and Burnham, 2 North Central, Phoenix 85004. Maria's with me. I want to thank her for all her help with the project. We just wanted to give you a very brief presentation on the development agreement and just the topic. We talked a little bit about this last time. We're certainly going to talk about it again. We're building, as the speaker earlier mentioned, we're building an 8-story office building, which I think Mike and I went through, and we're really proud of the building. But one of the things we really want to talk about, I think it's an iconic building, but this is really what this project is about. And we wanted to spend some time with the council, and certainly thank Councilwoman Arredondo Savage for all of her help. But one of the, and Zach was here, and we've spent a lot of time with Zach talking about the preservation, the rehabilitation of a historic Ash Avenue and what that will do and how that becomes our front door. And, you know, I think all of us who've lived in this community probably didn't even realize where Ash Avenue has been. And we're going to celebrate that and also bring in a new entrance to the park and kind of expand kind of how the park and what's available to the park, which is be a very large community benefit. In the new park, Ash Avenue, certainly the bleachers and then the baseball fields. And more importantly, or not more importantly, but just as important, we are also providing access, and it's going to be a part of what will be hopefully the second phase of the Veterans Memorial. And we've been working with Councilwoman Arredondo Savage. Oh, sorry. Thank you, Maria. You're welcome. And and the Veterans Commission, which we really appreciate, and the staff and Keith and all the park staff in terms of what we can do to kind of help use Ash Avenue, the rehabilitation, and kind of work towards the Veterans Memorial. And so you kind of see it here, where we're starting. We've been talking to the staff and how we're going to continue this and work through as we work through the development of this development agreement. It allows us to kind of use Ash Avenue to use as a foundation for the memorial. In addition, having contribution to schools. I think Maria's going to talk about that. The streetcar, and I won't go into the whole thing, but we just want to say thank you. I want to take this time to say thank you to Robin. Thank you to a lot of people who have helped us here, and thank you to this whole council and their support of the Veterans Memorial and the Ash Avenue Bridge. So I'm going to let Maria talk, and then I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you.
We just wanted to run down quickly what the different benefits were for this agreement. Obviously, the rehabilitation of Ash Avenue and preservation of that abutment is very important to the preservation of the community assets that we have. The developer has also agreed to donations to the Tempe Public Schools, to the Tempe Coalition for Affordable Housing, the assistance for the future Veterans Memorial, which we've been working on for a long time. They're going to participate in the streetcar agreement and provide almost $2 million in additional public infrastructure, as well as some parking spaces for 60 years for the city. Are there any questions?
I've got one quick question, actually. So when we talk about the almost $2 million in additional public infrastructure, can you talk a little bit about what that public infrastructure looks like?
Yeah, I think it looks like it's at least $1 million for the preservation and rehabilitation of Ash Avenue. And that's based on Mark Vincent's report that the city has done when Mark was the historic preservation officer. And then there's some other infrastructure items related to some streetlights and other things as we round the curve along Ash Avenue. And then, actually, I'm going to show you here. And then it's maybe hard, Mike can talk when we do the zoning, we can talk, oops, sorry, is that not moving?
That one?
No, the other one. And you can see it, there's a little bit of the roundabout that you can see here as it's adjacent to the public parking lot. And so there's some other infrastructure items that happen both along the stairway and then kind of the roundabout that's within the public parking lot.
I'll just say, too, I appreciate the answer, too. I mean, looking at it just from where I'm sitting, I mean, it's a pretty stunning building. I mean, quite honestly. I mean,
Yeah.
we've talked about a lot about wanting things that are truly iconic and where people will actually drive by and just have some kind of a wow factor. And I mean, for me, just looking at the screen from where I'm sitting right now, I mean, there's definitely a wow factor with the building. So I mean, kudos on the design.
No, we appreciate that. Thank you.
So, thank you. Council, any other comments? Councilmember Arredondo Savage, of course.
Very good. I did make some comments last time you were here, Ms. Voss, Mangela, so I just want to again say thank you so very much. And I think people probably don't really realize, you mentioned how long we've been talking about doing the Veterans Memorial, and people may remember the Penny Saver site. That Penny Saver is, obviously that's where the Penny Saver used to sit, and it's been empty for a really long time. And one of the biggest challenges for us when we talked about phase 2 of the Veterans Memorial was that Ash Avenue Road, and that kind of became a barrier for us because it was so expensive to rehab it. And the thought that you want to come in and have that same passion and desire to really create something remarkable, not only with this building, because it is stunning. I agree with the mayor, which is funny because sometimes we don't always agree. But I do agree with him on this, and I think, to me, being able to have the Veterans Memorial Park and to really be able to tell our story and what veterans mean to us and what it means to Tempe, to me, this is really remarkable. And creating that gateway into the park is one of those things that we've really talked about. And I'm very confident that Duffy's going to be able to pull through some really remarkable designs. I know he's already been talking to some artists about what that could possibly look like. So I am very excited. I think this is just going to be a great addition to the downtown. So I wish I was here for your final vote, but I'm glad I'm here at least to this point. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Thank you for all your hard work on this. Anyone else, comments or questions?
Mayor,
Yes, Councilmember Garland?
I just want to say that I love the project. I think it looks great. It's looking at the pictures from every angle. I think it looks wonderful, and I think it's going to be a good addition. I appreciate how much, Modula, the builders there, how much they're really paying attention to doing something with that Ash Avenue, and then really working with the Veterans Memorial Walk. I think it's going to be something spectacular. I think we're going to be so proud of it when it's done. I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate Councilmember Arredondo Savage stepping up and following through and making sure this gets done. And I'm glad that it's moving forward while she's still on council right now. So thank you so much.
Great. Thank you, Councilmember Garland. Any other comments from council? All right. Thank you so much. Really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Go back for our zoning.
You got it. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the city council on this item? Speakers have up to 3 minutes. I'll take a look right now. Seeing none, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing. Council, any additional comments or discussion? All right, hearing none, just want to reiterate, the second and final public hearing on this item is scheduled for August 18th, 2022. The following agenda items now were scheduled for second hearing and final adoption were read and introduced on June 9th, 2022. Votes on these items will be taken this evening. First item under the section is 8C1, which is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance for a code text amendment for marijuana infusion text amendment consisting of changes within section 3-426, marijuana, and other sections within the Zoning and Development Code to allow alternate separation requirements for marijuana infusion facilities, including updates to the land use tables and related definitions. The applicant is Gamage and Burnham. And I see Lindsay Shuby.
You do.
How are you?
I'm great. Mayor Woods, council members, Lindsay Shuby with the law firm of Gamage and Burnham, 40 North Central, Phoenix, Arizona, 85004. Mike Merowitz gave a very detailed presentation last hearing. So I'm available to review the presentation, to answer any questions or comments anyone has, but I think we had a very fruitful discussion last hearing, and just stand for questions unless you would like something else.
Sounds good. Thank you. Anyone from the council have any comments or questions? No?
Nice to see you.
Thank you, Lindsay. Really appreciate it. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the council on this matter? You have up to 3 minutes. Please get my attention now. All right, seeing none, I'm going to look for a motion on item 8C1. Been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
Oh, there we go. Give me a roll call. Roll call. Aye. Good. All right, cool. That item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. The next item under the section is 8C2, which is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance for a zoning map amendment from GID and R16 to CC, a planned area development overlay to establish development standards, a public hearing to adopt a resolution authorizing a general plan land use map amendment from public open space to mixed use and density map amendment from no density to high density urban core, and approve a development plan review for a new 14-story office building with ground floor commercial for 250 Rio, located at 250 West Rio Salado Parkway. The applicant is Gamage and Burnham, PLC. Just want to also note that a general plan amendment requires an affirmative vote of at least 2/3 of the city council. Therefore, Madam City Attorney, how many votes would that be this evening with only 5 of us?
It is still 5 votes.
So we'd have to get all 5. We've got to run the table, okay.
Oh, power.
Just trying to kick up the intrigue, I guess, so.
We'll just go back to the front page.
All right, and this, I'll also note that this item is going to require 2 votes. I see Ms. Vaz, you're back.
I'm back.
All right, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Again, for the record, Angela Vaz, law firm of Gamage and Burnham. I have brought Mike Duffy, who did the design.
Hey, Mike.
And actually is the person who has done all the work. Who's going to make a beautiful Ash Avenue and a Veterans Memorial. So, we don't have to go. I think we went through the presentation thoroughly last time. Happy to go through it again or answer any questions, but we just want to thank you all for your help. We're really excited by the presentation, and I think, as you said and Mike talked about, we're really excited to, hopefully this will be an iconic gateway to the city on the west side.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Anyone from the council have any comments or questions? Still not feeling it. Want to show some pretty pictures?
You want some pictures?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike can
Councilmember
show
Arredondo
pictures.
Savage would like some pretty pictures.
There you go. Here, this is Mike's design. Mike, show your pictures.
Yeah, happy to give a brief presentation if you'd like, or answer any questions.
Just show 'em.
Councilmember?
Nice.
Oh, let's see. Anyone else? No? Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Appreciate it.
much.
All right, is there anyone in the audience wishing to address the city council on this item? Speakers have up to 3 minutes to address the council. If you would like to speak, please get my attention. All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. So we've got 2 votes on this item. Just want to state first, the first vote is on the general plan land use map amendment and the density map amendment. So I'm going to ask for a motion on the resolution authorizing a general plan land use map amendment and a density map amendment and a second. It's been moved by Councilmember Navarro. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Are you in a meeting?
Aye.
Say five votes and then some, I guess. So that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. You have officially run the table of all 5. The second vote is for the zoning map amendment, planned area development overlay, and development plan review. Do I have a motion on the ordinance for a zoning map amendment in addition to the planned area development overlay and the development plan review? That's been moved by Councilmember Navarro and seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Wait, this is 8C2?
Aye.
This is yes, 8C2.
Wait, we just voted on 8C2.
2 votes for this item.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. All right. The last item under the section is 8C3, which is to hold the second and final public hearing to adopt an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a development and disposition agreement with Tempe 206 South Farmer Avenue LLC, a Delaware limited liability company. Is there a presentation on this item? I guess I got Maria. She's still here. Nope, you're good? Okay, great, perfect. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the city council on this item? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Council, any comments or discussion? Yes, Councilmember Cubie.
Just a quick comment, just to note that the requested 25-year giblet lease, which will reduce the developer's property tax burden by about 1.2 million over the lifetime of the lease, that what results from all this and why there's such a strong benefit is that affordable housing in the downtown area will happen. So I proudly support this.
Well stated, thank you. Anyone else, any other comments or questions? All right, it's been moved by Councilmember Navarro. Do I have a second? Seconded by Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Please vote.
Aye.
And that item passes 5-0 with Vice Mayor Keating and Councilmember Adams absent. Now we're going to move on to item number 9, current events, council announcements, and future agenda items. I think council, what we'll probably do is we'll go through our kind of more standard announcements, and then we'll get to some speeches. So let me go ahead then and start with Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Any announcements? No. Okay, sounds good. Councilmember Garland.
I don't have any specific announcements, but I just want to say that it's only COVID that would keep me away from being there today with all of you and being able to sit next to Robin and seeing Lauren on the dais. And I'm going to miss them dearly, and being their colleagues, I'm going to miss them so terribly much. And that's all I'm going to say because I'm going to start crying.
Thank you, Councilmember Garland. Next up, Councilmember Cubie. Any sort of standard announcements?
Strangely, no.
Ah, interesting.
Nothing going on.
Interesting. All right. Next up, I'm going to go to Councilmember Navarro.
Oh, wait, one thing. I'd like to just say to my family, I'm so happy for you all being on vacation while I'm here in the heat of the summer. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Navarro, any announcements?
Yeah, Mayor, I think I have one. I don't know if I have us on pictures. Let's see if we got some cool stuff. I don't know.
Uh-oh. Pictures.
Oh, there it is. I'd like to thank MAG. We actually had a trip to Hermosillo, Mexico to talk about strengthening our region and economics with trade with Mexico. We were successfully establishing connections with Hermosillo government, business communities. Also, during the mission, we connected with state of Sonora and legislators of Sonora Congress, which was great in terms of just accessing their understanding of what they're doing in Hermosillo. So we're talking about nearshoring from products getting into instead of Long Beach ports, we'll be attracting Hermosillo to have those ports and to increase that trade, strengthening the transportation corridor from trucks to rail, continuing on the what we call Highway 11 all the way up to Canada. So they're doing their part. Mexico is really trying to invest in infrastructure. And we were there to learn more about that and more in the investment. Also, we've had this trip back in 2019. This was a huge trip for us, learning more about the factories and the types of work that they have there. This picture right here is a factory of approximately over 110 people, which started with 10 people. The transition happened from a group out of Pittsburgh who does and manufactures small parts for Volvo. So those parts for Volvo were not being able to be manufactured in Pittsburgh at a cost that they could afford, and also with the type of machinery that needed to be infrastructure, they found a partner within Hermosillo to actually do that. So that helped Hermosillo out in terms of this factory, from 10 employees to producing now 110 employees with decent wages. And what that does is has a tremendous effect within that community. So those partnerships is just an example of what we're trying to establish here with the MAG region, hopefully creating more partnerships down the road. I personally hope to create more partnerships within Tempe. We also talked to some people in the restaurant business. And if you have not had a Hermosillo steak or any one of their steakhouses down there, it's absolutely fabulous. But there also is an opportunity to have that type of restaurateurs come out to our areas to showcase what they have. And I think that's a unique thing in a partnership when we talk about a community that is trying to evolve and trying to create more international flavor. So I think what we're trying to do and what we're trying to achieve in Hermosillo is a big benefit to the region, but I think it'll be a huge benefit to Tempe and our development that we have here. So real kudos to MAG, and I love to thank the mayor of Hermosillo. He opened his arms, and the people that we got to meet there. And we did get to give him some nice tchotchkes of the city of Tempe, some ball caps, which I have to say was impressive, because I have not seen a great ball cap in a long time. But Tempe, man, you knocked it out of the park with a nice fitted cap. So the mayor was very happy, and he sported it in one of these pictures, I thought, but I don't have it here. No, maybe he did. No, he was going to wear the hat right there after that picture, but I don't. Anyways, that was it, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Navarro. I've got two very quick announcements. I think I've got a slide for the first one, I believe. This was one actually given to me by Councilmember Adams, who wasn't able to be here this evening, but I wanted to make sure to read it on her behalf. So, Drag Story Hour, Arizona, and trivia at one of my favorite coffee shops, Brick Road Coffee. So it's a special young adult story hour and trivia night celebrating Pride Month with stories and trivia drawn from shared LGBTQ+ history. Drag Story Hour is about drag queens and kings inspiring our community members to be themselves through books, songs, and artistic impression. And that's going to be held on Saturday, June 25th at 6 p.m. at Brick Road Coffee, which is located at 4415 South Rural Road, Suite 10 in Tempe. Go check those guys. They're awesome, awesome food and drink, so please make sure to get over there. And my second announcement is just a quick one regarding the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, who are currently asking for public comment on 5 draft maps that would adjust the boundaries of the county's 5 supervisorial districts. This redistricting is required by law following the 2020 census. The deadline to approve district changes is July 1st, 2022, and you can view the maps and give your feedback at www.maricopa.gov. And that's it for my announcements. With that, I will ask here, moving on, council members Arredondo, Savage, and Cubie, would you like for us to go first, or would you like to start? Let's see, okay. Councilmember Garland, I'll go to you since you're on the phone. Would you like to begin?
Oh gosh, you're gonna make me get started. Holy smokes. So this is my first time to be a part of an evening like this, and I just have to say it's hard to do it from home because I'm a huggy kind of person, and I just really want to be there. You know, Lauren, when I first got on council, or even before I got on council, I don't know if a lot of you guys know this, but with Tempe leadership, I actually shadowed Lauren, which was kind of fun to sit down and talk to her about her job and what she did, and look what happened to me. So telling you, Tempe Leadership and Shadow Day was important. But you know, I learned a lot from sitting and talking to Lauren about what council was going to, it could be like, and how she approached it. And I think, you know, the same thing, meeting with Robin, and then talking to them and looking at them as mentors, and the others on council the same way. But I just have to say, I've built not only a great relationship that I enjoy working with them, and even not agreeing on issues, it doesn't change the fact that I still have a lot of respect and I enjoy working with both of them. And I think we're going to miss their personalities on the council, and I tried to explain that a little bit better in a card, because I knew that I was not going to be able to get through it by talking. So both you guys, you have your cards and read them, because I cannot say all of those things right now. But I'm going to miss you guys a lot. It was really fun working with you. And Robin, I will still crack up every time I look over at that chair and I wouldn't see your feet touching the ground. It still makes me laugh. But anyway, you guys are wonderful, and you were a great addition to the city of Tempe, and you've done so much for us. And I hope to carry forward the things that you guys have done and that are important to you. And just know that I will still be calling you for questions and advice later. So thank you so much for all you've done for Tempe and all your advice and help with me. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Garland.
Thank you.
All right, I will go next then. So I've got comments about both. Councilmember Arredondo Savage, I was going to tell you that per your request, I will try to keep them short and save some additional ones for later, as you've asked. But there are definitely some things I have to just say very publicly. The first meeting that Councilmember Arredondo Savage and I had, and we met before this, but she's laughing because she knows exactly what I'm going to talk about. The first meeting we ever had was at US Egg, right at Mill and Baseline. And I was meeting with her when I was running for office for the second time, the first race I actually won. And I remember asking Robin to sit down with me and have a conversation, because she was a longtime community leader, and I just wanted to pick her brain and just talk to her about a number of things. And according to her, talk I certainly did. She said, I don't remember this, but I totally trust her, knowing me, that pretty much for the entire hour and a half that we were sitting there, she pretty much didn't get an entire word in, as she sat and listened to me pretty much empty everything in my head, all of these different ideas and thoughts that I had about the community and where Tempe should go. And she sat there and listened to me talk, which I really appreciated, because I didn't realize how much I was talking. But to be quite candid, I was probably very nervous, and that's why, because I was thinking, oh my gosh, I'm sitting with Robin Arredondo Savage, and I need to tell her everything that I've ever thought of in my entire life. The one question I will tell you, though, that she asked me when sort of, I guess, kind of considering my qualifications for public office here in the city of Tempe, was she said, and you know, Robin was a school board member with Tempe Union for many, many years. And the one question she asked me was, do you feel that you can carry the ball forward on education issues? Because that was what was critically important to her, was that we had people who cared about our students and our teachers and the future of education in the city of Tempe. And I told her, yes, I feel very comfortable talking about those issues and really trying to carry that kind of mantle forward to the city of Tempe. But it just shows you what her deep commitment was to the city of Tempe. Her perspective was, look, I understand that the city, that there are duly elected school boards for all 3 school districts of the city of Tempe, but you cannot be a mayor or a city council member sitting up here and not care about education and the future of our kids, because so goes the future of our students here, so goes the city moving forward. And she had the wisdom to know that, and frankly to ask me that question in probably the only sentence she was able to get in during that meeting, because I kept talking. But she continued that work when she got onto the city council and has been our leader on education issues. We talked a lot about, college and career readiness and College Connect. Frankly, the hiring of Marie Raymond at the city of Tempe, who was our first education coordinator, was largely due to Councilmember Arredondo Savage's efforts in really keeping that focus on education here in our community and at Tempe City Hall. So I credit her all of the things that we have done from an educational standpoint in the last 12 years, she was the leader, or she played a major, major part in getting those things done. So my perspective is the entire education community here in the city of Tempe, owes her a great debt of gratitude for the work that she's done over time. And then I just think about all the work we were able to do together when it came to veterans issues. She really brought those issues to the forefront, and she played such a huge role, and we talked about in the proclamation in creating the Veterans Commission and working on the Valor on 8th project, which is right down the street from Four Peaks. But what a lot of people didn't see too was the work that she did in advance of that project. We're looking at my aide, Parish Spies, in the back of the room, who also was in the Marines. They spent time not just saying we want to build a project for veterans, but trying to find which veterans weren't being served in the Valley. And so they went around to several different nonprofits and organizations trying to figure out where there were gaps. And what they came back with was, we're not doing anything at all for women veterans in our community and women and people with families, and trying to help them get back into school after they get back home from serving. And so that effort to create Valor was not just something about wanting to do a veteran supportive project. It was an exhaustive project that they took up, and the Councilmember Arredondo Savage took up, of trying to get all of the information that we could possibly have to make sure that we were truly filling a gap that was not being served in any other city or town in the state of Arizona. And that's why we are the first veteran supportive community in the entire state, is due to her efforts. And so I just had to publicly thank her and applaud her. And I think about all of the work you've done on Valley Metro Rail with the streetcar opening up on May 20th. You really, over the last couple of years, have completely shepherded that process through, and we have the streetcar here. I know a lot of that work was started by Councilmember Shanna Ellis, but I mean, you did such an exceptional job of bringing that home and making sure that we have another incredible Valley amenity that the city of Mesa is already talking about partnering with us on to create a truly regional transportation system. But even more importantly to me, I mean, from my perspective, what I'm going to miss is just the ability to work with you every day. I've had a wonderful time. I started in 2008, you started in 2010. And as you sort of alluded to earlier, there's been a lot of times where we sort of had different visions for the city when it came to design. We had this whole joke about how I like things with tons of color and she liked things that were a little more beige. And so we would have these jokes all the time about beige and color and all of this stuff. But the reality was, kind of piggybacking off of our city manager's comments, we both cared tremendously about the community, and frankly, I learned more from her than I could ever possibly talk about. Just about the history of this community, just the greatness of this community. She was sort of, in a lot of ways, my conscience on all of those issues, and sort of explaining where we had been as a community, and frankly, where we needed to go based on that history and her deep love and her family's love for the city. And so, I'm just really sad to see her go. I was sort of dreading this evening because I don't want to lose, Robin or Lauren as colleagues. They're such exceptional people. And Robin, I really consider you to be a tremendous friend and public servant. And shocking, I do have more tomorrow that I'm actually editing from this. But I want to tell you that, I love you to death, and I'm really, truly going to miss working with you every day. You're an absolute treasure to this community. So thank you. And to Councilmember Cubie. So our actual first meeting, which I'm sure she'll remember too. So we had met previously at a then Legislative District 17 Democrats meeting. But we didn't really meet. We were just sort of in the same room as people who were trying to do good work on behalf of the community. And one day I happened to be walking past the ASU Art Museum, kind of where the old Saks sandwich shop was. I know that's all being demoed now. But I was walking through there, and someone popped their head out of a door, and I heard Corey. And I turned around, and it was Lauren Cubie. And she said, "I'm Lauren Cubie. I go to the District 17 Democrats meetings, and we've been in the same room together many times." And I said, "Oh, it's nice to meet you." And and so we just started chatting, and she said, do you have some time to come inside and spend some time with me?" And I said, "Sure." So next thing you know, we're sitting in a conference room in the building that she works in for the next hour, just having a far-ranging conversation about a whole host of different conversations. And little did I know that sort of meeting that seemed a little bit random would turn us into lifelong friends. Lauren has done such incredible work here. I mean, on things we talked about in the proclamation as well, with the Family Justice Commission, the work we did together on campaign finance reform. When you see all the other cities in the valley and you see contribution limits, the max donations are around $6,500 for an individual. And in Tempe, they go up every 2 years, kind of for inflation. But I think the next cycle it'll be $560, I believe, will be the max contribution. And people always ask me, why are the limits in Tempe are so much smaller than a lot of other places? But that was largely due to the work that Councilmember Cubie did on trying to make sure that regular people had a voice in government. That has been one of her biggest concerns since the moment I met her standing on ASU's campus, was making sure it wasn't just people who were attorneys and people with lots of money to spare had an opportunity to participate in government. The thought process was, if the limits are lowered to an actual amount that is low enough, everyone can actively and equally participate. It's not going to be the average person who can give you $200 and the developer who can give you $6,000. It really levels the playing field to make sure that there's no undue influence, but quite honestly, too, that people of all different backgrounds have the ability to run for office. Because as we all know, sometimes running for office can be exceptionally cost prohibitive, and it tends to attract a certain person who either has lots of disposable income or just lots of time on their hands. And the efforts that Councilmember Cubie put in limiting those corporate contributions and bringing the individual contribution limits down, quite honestly, is something that is going to live on in the city for quite some time. And when you look and see the stories, frankly, that the Arizona Republic ran back on March 8th, we had our last election, talking about electing the most diverse council in this entire state. And frankly, I think we already had the most diverse council in this entire state, is largely due to those efforts. It was finding a way to make sure that everyone could participate actively in their government, whether it's petitioning your government or sitting up here on the dais as a member of the city council. And I have to very publicly thank her for that work. And as we talked about, she's truly not just a regionally, but also a nationally recognized champion on climate change and climate justice issues, and on environmental sustainability. And quite honestly, she really has inspired me. When I first started, I didn't know a whole lot about sustainability. But you can't really be friends with Councilmember Cubie and not just pick up things through osmosis at some point. Because, I mean, it really is sort of central to everything she does in her being. And so I learned a lot about sustainability and how to create a greener planet, and frankly, to leave something for generations after us that they can truly be proud of and live in comfortably. And frankly, I would not have known those things without her. And then I think about, the work that you've done on animal welfare and your advocacy and, for workers in our community. I mean, I can't think of a person who's been a more tireless advocate for the working class and for animals. I mean, you've just done such an incredible job on so many things. I can hardly talk about all of them. And I just think about all of the things that during that time that both you and Councilmember Arredondo Savage have frankly taught me about just public policy issues, but also about friendship and about, as the city manager talked about it, but just genuine caring for this community. And for those of you who know Lauren, I don't think she sleeps. I will get text messages from her at 11:45 at night saying, "Hey, you still up?" And I'm like, "I am, but why are you still up?" Then I kind of realize the hypocrisy that I'm still up too, and I'm thinking, why is she up? But that's just how she works. I mean, she's just a tireless advocate for so many people and so many causes. And I think that's probably why she must only sleep 4 hours a night, because she's constantly trying to think about ways to improve this community and improve, working conditions for people and just improve the lives of everyday citizens. And so I just have to thank her. And just lastly, I'll just say this too, about just, the friendship element. Lauren, like Robin, I mean, frankly, have been in my corner my entire career. Lauren has been in my corner and some of the toughest moments I've had, in a lot of ways, and so has Councilmember Arredondo Savage. And I just think about how, you have always had my back, you have always supported me, you have always been my friend, even when we haven't agreed on things, we've always been. I remember a night back in 2014, after she won, we had a conversation. We've been having kind of a disagreement about something, which I won't get into. But I remember I called her that night when she won the election, and she said, I love you, Corey. And I said, I love you too. And whatever issue we were having before that was frankly over. It was just sort of done instantly. And usually that's not how things work, but it was the deep sort of, feelings that we had for one another as friends that meant we got past whatever it was very quickly. And I think that just says a lot about your friendship and the relationship that we've developed over the years. So I am truly going to miss working with you. I know we're always going to be friends, but you've done just such an incredible amount for this community, and I really applaud you for all of it. And so just to the both of you, to Councilmember Arredondo Savage and Councilmember Cubie, you two, we are greatly going to miss you. Like you were both two of my best friends. You have been friends, you have been mentors, and more importantly, you have been champions for this community, and the entire community here in Tempe, and frankly, the region owes you both a huge debt of gratitude. So thank you much for your service, and just, I love you both.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilmember Navarro.
I don't know how you follow that, Mayor.
I can't believe I got through without crying. I'm just
You covered the bases. I'm like about ready to, I was like, why can't I breathe? It's these flowers. And I was like, have Daryl get an SVN of albuterol going because I'm about to lock up. Yeah. So that said, Councilmember Kuby, I think the mayor has expressed a lot of it. And I just want to say, getting to know you from before council, getting on council, knowing your passion by far blows it out of the water. I know exactly where you stand. Even if I might disagree, I know exactly where you stand, but it's unbelievable the passion you have towards and the commitment you have towards where you stand at. And I say this probably over and over to so many people, yeah, I disagree with her, but damn it, she's got a point on these things, and damn it, she has passion on this stuff. And I envy that. I actually do envy that a lot. And it's your support that you have with our employees, with the workers, with social justice, with economic justice. It's making sure that people are taken care of, and you truly have that. When it talked about pre-K, and you've been a big supporter of that, yes, it does have so many benefits to our community, and it was a hard initial decision, I remember that, to make that step, because are we the school board or are we the city council? But at the end of the day, it has been by far the biggest impact, in my opinion, on the community, and you've been really a big part of that, and that's what stuck with me. The other things that stuck with me is obviously your ability with sustainability. You bring up so much information, so much data, and I regurgitate it, believe it or not, and it's impressive. But the knowledge you have and the background you have on those issues has just informed us so much, and the passion you show. And I know on development we often sometimes differ, and we sometimes don't, but you push the envelope. And when you push the envelope, it sets up the next one and the next one and the next one, and eventually we start making progress. And that's what I've seen throughout. And I know that as this council goes forward, we're going to continue that progress because you've laid the foundation, you truly have. And I know that we differ on sometimes, and I know we fight like brothers and sisters often too, but I just want to tell you, I love you, and I apologize for anything. But at the same time, I know you're going on to better things, and I know you're going to be doing some great things down the road. So I appreciate you. All right. And the energy you have is incredible. Let's see, Robin, my prom date. So we had a picture, and we're both stuck down in the basement. We're doing our council pictures. And I don't know who's mentioned it. Hey, why don't you guys get up there and take a picture together? So we did, and it looked like a prom picture. And then everyone's like, you guys went to prom together? And so it's been all across the valley, it seems like, and in other cities. You guys went to prom together, I heard. I was like, yeah, we did. So we just played it up, but it's been fun. I mean, me and Robin, we've had a blast. The conversations, the countless nights, discussions over beers, debriefing, whatever it may be. It's been fun, and it's really been a pleasure with you up here on council. The veterans' passion you have,
being a veteran yourself, just like Mayor Woods has said, to initiate the Valor on 8th and to take over and to take on. I know that a lot of citizens brought up at the very beginning to do the memorial, but you've taken that and you've exceeded to the presentation tonight, which is by far outstanding, and it's going to be such an improvement on that part of the lake for sure. And I'm not clamping up yet. I'm just, I'm going to blame it on the flowers. So, but no, it's the passion you have in continuing those things forward. Education, you and your family, this is such a strong passion for you guys, and to be on the council with you, to shepherd that. And to be honest with you, I can remember when we were there, we were both on the committee, and we're both looking at each other and we're having a discussion, and it's like, how can we do this? There's so much that we need to do in terms of education and connection with the city and all these, and we kept on going and going and going. We're like, we need a coordinator. And I remember that, and it was with your leadership and passion, we got this coordinator, which got another assistant, which I was like, I'm still like, you're gonna need more, trust me, because the partnership with the schools, the partnerships with the community college, the partnership with ASU is strategically important. And there's so many different avenues when we talk about those partnerships that I even utilize when I have a brilliant idea, but I need an ASU student to help me follow through with it. Those things have been just a big inspiration. But the other thing that I have to say is the College Connect. I'm jealous. I sit here and I'm like, damn it, you did such a great job on this. And and I remember this, it's through NLC, through other things, and you took ownership and leadership of making something here in Tempe, and it's like every single council meeting you have, and I love that too, it's the advertisement of it. It's what it can do. And when I got with my kids and they're going through college, I was like, College Connect. It was over and over in my head, and it was the one thing I went to. I was like, well, what do we do? College Connect. We can go down there. We can figure it out, whatever the information was. But I have to say that those things has made this community so much stronger and more unique than other communities because of your passion and your drive towards those things. When we talk about veterans, when we talk about MAG and transportation, when we talk about NLC involvement, Arizona League involvement, when we talk about the thoughtfulness of development, and there's times that we often disagree on the type of development. I want higher, you want lower, I want wider, and I want more, whatever it may be, but you bring up thoughtful conversation, you bring up thoughtful points of interest that I'm like, oh, I didn't think of that. But it also spurs the conversation along with Lauren and others to make sure that the product has gotten better. And I think that what we're doing in Tempe is a real attribute to this council and to you, Robin and Lauren, about what you provide for us all in terms of making those things happen and being possible. And I think with developers, it's actually set the template of, okay, we know what we're getting into. We know what we have. We know what Tempe wants, and we lay out the playing field so it's no surprise. And we really have gotten there. So the other thing is, before I forget too, is also your help with the opioids and your passion on that. And I think that for this community, with what we achieved with wastewater, with what we achieved with partnerships with ASU, and what we achieved with PD and fire and documentation and trying to pinpoint that, it has been a real big a benefit to our community in what we're doing with opioids, and with Robin's leadership on that in the direction we're going and how we're trying to achieve that is bringing national attention. And COVID did bring it for us though, but because we had to switch our wastewater over to tracking COVID, but that has brought the opioid thing up to light again. So these are just a few of the things that you both have been part of, but Robin, I want to tell you that as a friend, I adore you. I will miss you.
Thank you, Councilor Barr. See, I'm going to go ahead and turn to the council members for their comments. Councilmember Arredondo Savage, I will start with you. Yeah.
I begged the mayor to let Lauren go first. I guess that didn't work out.
I can.
No, that's fine. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Okay. I wrote a lot of notes, and I think just being here, knowing it's my last meeting, kind of gets you. and seeing all these people here in this audience, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, thank you so much for what you do. So I'm going to gather myself really quick. I'm going to smell the roses. Okay, all right. I got to say, being on this council for the last 12 years is probably one of the biggest honors I've ever had. It has just really, truly been a blessing to be able to work with so many incredible individuals to make this community the best place that it can certainly be. It's kind of been interesting when I've reflected and just thought about, you know, that 12 years and what that looked like. And some of my colleagues kind of mentioned it. So when Mayor Woods got on the council in 2008, you got to remember there was a big recession. And when I got on the council in 2010, we were reeling from the fact of, can we keep our employees? Can we continue to provide these great quality services? What can we do for our community? Everybody is hurting. And that was really hard. And it was really tough to be on this council for at least 2 years where it was survival. And one thing that was good in that time for me is I had the ability to really get around and meet our different departments, understand what our departments are doing, really get to build relationships with our employees, and understand the hard work and the things that they do every single day for this community. Whether the times are good, whether they're bad, whether they're indifferent, we have some of the most outstanding individuals in this organization, and I couldn't be more proud of what you do every single day. When I got on the council, our population was about 160,000. As I leave council, our population is 195,000. Our budget that very first year was $750 million, and we just approved a budget not too long ago for $1.1 billion. We've created in the last, thank you Donna and Marie for this information, but in the last 10 plus years, we have created almost 50,000 jobs for this community. And that is saying a lot of the growth of this community. And that doesn't happen by itself at all. We've been able to bring a lot of great different headquarters to the city of Tempe. I mean, they've could have gone anywhere in the world, but they picked this place. And they picked this place for a reason, because this is an amazing community, this is an amazing region, and it's a really great state, and I am so proud of it. And the one thing that I am so proud of too is, as we've continued to grow and we've managed the way we've managed and weathered a lot of the storms, I have to give kudos to those council members that came before us, because I feel like they really did a phenomenal job of putting us in a very good position to be able to come out of that recession and be able to do some really great things for this community. And what I noticed is the one thing that never changed for Tempe is our Tempe values. Our Tempe values have been the same since the day I got here and the day that I am leaving. And what we all do together is to provide the best outstanding quality of life and always try to strive to do better. And those things don't happen by themselves. They happen when we work together. And this is one of the most incredible teams I've ever seen. I'm really so proud of this organization and these amazing people. And if I don't look at you, it's because I don't want to get teary-eyed, so I'm going to start staring up at the beams, because that's going to what I'm going to do. And if I had the time, I would want to just call out every single one of you and say thank you so much for what you do and what you have done for me to make me a better council member, to be able to provide great quality service here in the city of Tempe. I'm so thankful for that. I want to really just say thank you to a few people, because all of our Tempe employees are the best, but there's some that I definitely have on speed dial. You know, you got those people that you have on speed dial, and you really count on them a lot. And so I just kind of have to kind of run through it. And I want to say to, like, Rosa and Ryan, I looked at my phone too to say, who have I talked to recently and who do I text most frequently? And Ryan, I am sorry. I called you a lot. I mean, one of the things that we did here in the city of Tempe is some really remarkable developments, but we have so many remarkable people here that always answer the call, always willing to answer my questions, and I'm so grateful for that. And Rosa, always keeping me calm, talking me off the ledge, giving me some great ideas, and keeping me focused and centered. It has just been amazing, and I'm so grateful for you and for you. I have to say, the other people that I call a lot is Naomi. Naomi, I know I call you a lot. I have all these great ideas, and I'm just sure you need to hear them. And you are always so gracious, and you answer the phone still, even though you called me back the other day, so thank you for that. I really do appreciate that. And to, of course, my Valley Metro team, I like to call it my Valley Metro team, to Eric and Sam and to Marge, I will tell you, they are incredible. They care so much about this community and transportation. It was so easy to fall into learning about how important transportation is to the city of Tempe. And I will tell you, I was the very first one. When we were going to do streetcar back in the day, I really wasn't sold. I thought, whoa, I don't know, is that really going to be a good idea? And then the more I got to know and the more I worked with Marge and Sam and Eric, I realized that it's just a piece. You know, streetcar is a piece of the bigger picture of what our comprehensive transportation system can really be like. And so I am so grateful for them, for our little group text messages that kind of keep me laughing and keep me going. And I just so much appreciate their knowledge and wisdom and being able to share that with me and being so patient with me. That's been really phenomenal. Donna, you and your team, we have thrown so much at you. I just mentioned some of the great things that this community has done, but that doesn't happen without really good leaders and having really good people around you. So thank you for what you do. Thank you to your team. That has just been really remarkable. And now, Jeff, in your new position, I won't have to be calling you about code enforcement anymore, and maybe my dad won't be calling you, because I'm sure he's probably listening. I'm going to have to tell him that you got promoted, so stop bothering Jeff when you got a code violation. You are definitely where you need to be, and I'm very excited about you being in that position. So congratulations to you, and thank you for your friendship, and thank you for always being willing to help and assist and address hard problems. And also to KB, Keith Burke, who is in Italy, so he's not here, but a great shout out to him. Even though he thinks he's the best pickleball player in town, I know he's not. And we do like to I think, get after it when it comes to pickleball, but he now being promoted, I think he's in the right spot too, and I'm really happy and excited for him. But he's just been a really good inspiration and just a really good friend and an advisor and learning as I go through things. And I know all of you when you're driving, I mean, the traffic light doesn't change and you get really all upset and kind of pissy. Well, who do you call, right? I call Shelly Seiler. I always call Shelly Seiler, and she still answers the phone. Oh, I haven't called her lately, but I'm telling you, when it comes to traffic, nobody knows traffic any better than her. So that's been really remarkable and fun. And of course, you know, there's a few people too that, you know, you get really close with and you realize you can't do things without them. And they're so important to really kind of help lift you up and ensure that you are where you need to be, when you need to be there, and that you have all the documents and all the information that you need. And that first started with Parrish. You know, Parrish, we've spent 7 years together, and that was pretty dang remarkable. We did so many things. We accomplished so many stuff together. You're right, Mayor. We did travel and go check out a lot of different places to ensure that we were bringing the best possible project to the city of Tempe, and I think we did a lot of remarkable things together, so I'm so grateful for you. And Timmy G, I know you're here now, not because you work for the city, but because you work for Arizona State University. And I will tell you, even though the short time that we had together, I think you were probably at home more than we were here because it was 2 years of a pandemic. But I will tell you, you know, we kind of I threw you to the wolves, and you did a really incredible job. Obviously, you did such a great job that ASU stole you. And so I'm not really happy with that, but I do appreciate the notebook that you brought me. So thank you for the ASU swag. Thank you for everything that you've done to keep me straight. I certainly do appreciate that because I realize how important it is to have somebody behind you and in your corner and not afraid to tell you what you think. And then, of course, I got to say something to Tanya, but I'm not going to be able to look at her because I know she's going to get a little teary-eyed, and it's probably perfect because she's sitting right next to behind my husband and I can't see her face. But when Timmy G decided to leave, there was really, you know, Joel and I were pretty much by ourselves. We didn't have a council aide. I didn't want to be his council aide, and he didn't want to be mine. So Tanya Chavez volunteered and stepped up to say, hey, I will come and support you, whatever it is that you need. And so she has been doing double duty for 2 months, and that is really remarkable. I mean, thank goodness we got rid of Joel. So now it's just Tanya and I, so that's been pretty great, and we've done some really cool, remarkable things. So anyway, I know I missed a lot of people, but I will just want to tell this community how much I hope that people realize and appreciate this city as much as I do. I love this city. And I know these people, our employees here in the city of Tempe love it too, and they care, and it shows with the work that you guys do every single day. And I just want to say thank you. I hope I get an opportunity to see you after this. And to Chief Glover and to your staff, thank you so much for everything that you do. I know it's been a rocky road at times, but I will tell you, you will always have my support. I am so thankful for our first responders, for our public safety in general. I know I wish Chief Reese was here also, because you guys have been really remarkable. You stood up in so many things. And when it came to getting through a pandemic, as this organization did, I think we leaned very heavily on our fire department, and they really did come through. And that happens because we have really great leaders in place, and I'm so grateful that you're there. I feel safer in the city because of you, so thank you so much for that. And to my council colleagues that are here, right? Joel. Yeah. So Joel, everybody does say he was my prom date, and if you guys saw this picture, you would think so, because Skip at the time decided it would be really fun on this picture to give myself a corsage and Joel a boutonniere. So no wonder everybody thought we were at prom, even though I was in a suit. I don't know who wears a suit to prom, but I guess I do. And I gotta tell you, I've loved working with Joel. He is so dang funny, cracks me up. And when we talk about education, I mean, that stuff doesn't happen without being able to work with the teammate. And Joel was right there when I jumped on board and said, hey, you know, let's kind of work together and see what we can do. What is the city of Tempe's role in education? And Joel's like, yeah, let's do it. This would be really great. He obviously has family members that are in education, so it was really easy for us to pair up and work together, and that was what we did. We brought forth some recommendations, and that was like one of the very first things that I did in the city of Tempe, which I was super proud of. And it did start with Marie Raymond and creating that education coordinator, and that's just really grown from there into College Connect and Career Ready and Tempe Pre, our youth specialists that are on the campus, not only at our high schools, but at our middle schools, and just really understanding what the role is of education for a community and how we can really enhance the lives of our youth and our families. And I'm so grateful for you for doing that. And I'll tell you, I don't look at right-of-ways like I ever did before. You know, if anybody knows Joel, Joel knows he loves his right-of-ways, and he loves ficus trees. So I will always think of Joel every time I'm downtown and I see a ficus tree, or I see maybe, like, you know, things are getting a little dingy on the right-of-ways. I know Joel's on it, so I feel really good about that. But Joel, I tell you, I have so much enjoyed being up here on this dais with you, working with you, decompressing afterwards, maybe, you know, a beer or two. I really liked it when you bought, because that was pretty great. Just didn't happen enough. But so I got to keep it light and easy because it's so much easier for me to get through it. And just to say, you've just been a really amazing friend. You know, I do like your wife a lot too. So she's pretty great. And I've really just enjoyed the things that you've been able to do. And one thing I think too that you brought to the table for me was your passion for NLC, for the National League of Cities. People that don't know what that is, it's an opportunity for us to go and learn what's happening, you know, in other cities and other states and really across the country. And because he was so involved and engaged, it really encouraged me to do the same thing. And I really learned a lot by having that opportunity, and I'm super grateful for that. That was really great. So thank you so much for that, Joel. And the work that we've done, that really you did. You spearheaded it, and I just jumped on board and helped along the way with opioids and wastewater, which is pretty remarkable, and how that was pivoted into really help and assist our community when it came to COVID-19 and really understanding. And that doesn't happen too either by itself, because I think it was us and Rosa really took on that and championed being able to do that pivot really quick and help our community and really understand where we were struggling and where the crisis really is. So that's really important to be able to have that. Now, I'd like to talk about Randy, but he's not even here. But how can I not? Because, you know, Randy and I had one of our first outreaches together. We called it the Round Table with Randy and Robin. And I fought because I thought my name should be first. I mean, I'd been here longer, but I didn't win that battle either. But he's just been a really remarkable individual to work with. I love sitting next to him, and you know, we have a lot of similarities in the way we work and what we do together. But he's been really a good advocate, a great advocate when it comes to economic development and really working on some of our areas that were a little depressed and needed, you know, like the makers. And I think that was something that he was really passionate about, and making sure that Mcclintock Road get adjusted. I mean, he had some certain passions, and I really do appreciate that and have loved working with him. And Lauren, I like to call Lauren the Energizer Bunny, because she does not stop. I mean, I will get text messages from her or an email in the middle of the night, and like, what the heck? Does this woman never sleep? I'm telling you, she does not. And the way that she works in that way is the way she works for this community. It is really remarkable. And we don't always agree. And I think it's funny that Andrew said that we are different personalities. Okay, yeah, we are. But I'll tell you, our passion and our desire to do what's right for this community are steadfast. We really do care, and it's great because I think the one thing about this council has been really remarkable is we're diverse. We have different experiences. We bring different ideas and different passions to the table, and I think you have taught me so much when it comes to things that I just didn't really know so much about before, whether it's sustainability or social justice, and I'm really grateful for that because that's been an education for me. And also the work that we've been able to do together when it came to equal pay. And it wasn't only just about ensuring everybody got equal pay, but it was also about educating women in our community to understand that their worth and their value. And to me, that is invaluable. So I am so grateful that we were able to do that together. And also the work that we did with adaptive recreation to really ensure that there is all abilities for all of our individuals in this community and how important it is. And the one thing I had an opportunity to go to today, and it was because of, I think, some of our work, was the enhancements for Camp Challenge. And that is just a really cool to be able to see the accumulation of the Camp Challenge in their summer and their plays today. And maybe that should have been my announcement, but it's not. And I just want to say thank you because I think together we did some really, really great things. So I'm very grateful for you. And to Doreen, are you still there? Are you sleeping? But Doreen,
No,
I gotta.
I'm here and you don't have to look me in the eye, so this is even better.
This is great. All right, I'm going to tell you. I'm using your chair. I have all my stuff on your chair and everything over here. So I want to tell you, I have really enjoyed working with you these last 2 years, and I'm really sad because I feel like we just really started getting going on some of the cool things that I know we're going to be able, that you are probably going to be able to do together. You are one of the most outstanding, amazing individuals I have ever met. One of the kindest, caring human beings that is so ethical that it's just a breath of fresh air, and I'm so grateful for you. I've loved getting to know you. I know we were going to be friends for many years to come. And the one thing that you said to me, and you've said it to me lately in the last 6 months, is, what is it you need me to do? What can I do? What do I need to carry on for you? And I have no doubt in my mind that you will take on some of these things that I know are important and passionate to me, and you will continue to ensure that they remain successful, whether it's our Refresh Tempe campaign, whether it's the work that we do with veterans, as I know you have veterans in your family too. To me, that is just so important that you offer that. And I know what is really amazing is I know you'll follow through. I have no doubt in my mind. And I just want to say thank you. You're just been great to work with, and I love the way you work and the way you do your homework and asking really tough, hard questions, and not afraid to speak your mind and vote your conscience. I love that a lot. So thank you, and I look forward to many, many years of friendship with you, Doreen. Not that I'm not going to be friends with any of you guys. I don't want to say that at all. And then to Mayor Woods, I don't know where to start, right? So I said this was going to be really short, and I apologize that it's not. And he's right about that breakfast at US Egg. I was completely done with my breakfast, and he had barely even touched his. But those protein pancakes are pretty solid. And I remember exactly what I ate, and I remember what he didn't. And I thought, is this guy going to eat anything or what? But I'll tell you, the passion and the drive and what he showed me then and there was so... It hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. This is what he truly cares about. He cares about people. He cares about services. He wants everybody to be treated fairly and equally. And I can't tell you how remarkable of a human being he is and how great it's been to be able to work with you. You say you've learned stuff from me. Well, I have learned a ton from you, and I could tell you I have a list. But I'm going to narrow it down to just a couple. And one, and he's going to laugh when I say this. He's taught me how to compromise. Now, my family might disagree because they're sitting right over there, but he really has. And the fact when I say compromise, it's about collaboration and bringing everybody to the table. Doesn't matter what side of the issue you may be on. Let's sit down, let's talk about it, and let's try to find a great resolution that we can all live with. And that is something that I've learned from you, Mayor. I think that that is one thing that you are stellar about, is really bringing people together. and creating some synergy and that vision of moving forward. I love the work that we were able to do when you were a council member with our Veterans Task Force. So he gives me a lot of that credit, but that credit doesn't come to me. That credit is really a joint effort, and all those people that sat around that table that really cared about this community and cared about our veterans and how we could do better. But we have been able to accomplish so many of those things that we actually set out to do, whether it was, from Valor on 8th, their housing projects, to the Veterans Commission, to community salutes, to really getting a little bit more involved with the Veterans Day Parade, and now to see this Veterans Memorial is pretty great to see that come to fruition. So Mayor, I just want to say thank you for everything that you do. I've loved what you've been able to teach and how you lead this community and how you lead this council. I am so proud to work beside you and to call you a friend. And so thank you so very much for everything that you do. And I want to say thank you to the new council members that are coming in, right? I'm not going to have an opportunity to be here when they come in, and I'm very confident, as Doreen had mentioned, that she was going to, ensure that those things that I'd been working on are going to stay fluid in the future. And I'm really confident that with Arlene and Burdetta, you guys have got a really amazing team. And to Andrew, I just want to say, I thought if I could make him cry, it'd be great, but I'm not going to be able to do it. You have restructured this organization and put some people in some really key places. And I am very excited, and I'm kind of sad at the same time because I'm not going to be here to really witness it and the change. But I would just say that you've really put together a really dynamic team in City Hall, and you are going to see some really remarkable things, a lot of synergy, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and a lot of vision moving forward. So I'm really proud of the work that you have done and how you care about this organization and your fairness and always wanting to do what's right and being a good listener most of the time. Sometimes you didn't always take everything I said, but, I do really appreciate the opportunities to sit down and really hash things out and talk about it. He said, he goes, "You're tough." I'm like, I don't know if I'm really that tough, but I may be blunt, and I got to work on that a little bit. But Andrew, I feel like, together we've been able to create some really cool things, and I know that you're going to move this organization forward in a really positive way. That I'm super excited about the leadership and the way that you've structured this organization and where you're going to go. So thank you for that. And then just lastly, which I thought I'd leave them for last because I knew I'd lose it if I didn't. So I didn't expect my family to come, but they did. I told them not to, but they did. So for anybody that's in elected office, you know that it's not just you. You take everybody along for the ride, right? And so whether it's your family, whether it's your friends and your supporters, it takes, dang you, Timmy G, I see you back there laughing at me. And he bet me and I lost just right now. But it takes all those people behind you to give you the opportunity to do the things that you really want to do. And I couldn't do that if I didn't have that support of my family, of my friends. They were my friends before I became elected officials. Hopefully they're going to still be my friends after, but I feel pretty good about it. And so I'm so grateful for them for letting me miss a few ball games, maybe missing a few key events. But I tell you, I have loved this journey. I really have. And I know I couldn't have done it without your support, without your unconditional love. And to my parents, who are going to be so mad that I'm saying this to them, is, we kind of are who we are because of our family and our parents, but I have the most incredible parents. I had a great childhood right here in the city of Tempe. They really taught us how important family was, how important service was, and how important a work ethic is. And they truly live by those words. And next week, they are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. And if that's not proof in the pudding, I don't know what is. And of course, I have 4 siblings, and I have one of my siblings here tonight. So Jamie, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And she's had to pick up a lot of slack because we have a family business, and a lot of times I'm here and I'm not there. And so I'm so grateful for what you've been able to do and to be able to hold the fort down. But watch out, I'm coming back. So be careful. So anyway, so many other things, I want to say, and I told the mayor I wouldn't talk very long, but I blew that way out of the water. And just again, to this community, I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve and to be a public servant and hopefully be the right voice that you needed and that you wanted. I have loved working here, working alongside my colleagues, and really creating some really awesome programs and initiatives that I feel have really taken this community to the next level. And I know I see nothing but stars moving forward as we get this new council on board, and Andrew, you have your new leadership on board. I am so excited about what the future holds, and I just want to say again, thank you to the community for giving me this opportunity, because it wouldn't happen if you didn't support me, if you didn't vote for me, and I'm forever eternally grateful to be able to be here and to do this. So with that, Mayor, thank you. Whatever. Yeah. Get out. Get down. Okay, stand up. Stand up. Get down. Sit down. I knew it. Lost it.
Thank you, Councilmember Arredondo Savage. Next up, Councilmember Cubie.
Well, I made no promises to be brief, but for the last few months, I've woken up to thinking about what I wanted to say to you all tonight, and it's not quite as OCD as my friend Jackie, who wrote a resignation letter every day for a year before she finally left her job. But it's close, not quite as OCD. But you know, I think it's fair to say I came to this office with a heart of an activist and an organizer. And if it was that energy I brought to the council, you know, it sometimes conflicted with the slower pace of government and policy change, which you know, did lead to some clashes with some of my colleagues at times. And we all have different styles, but we all aim to serve the people of Tempe in the best way possible. We just have different, you know, pathways of getting there. I have so much gratitude for my council colleagues tonight. To start with the ones that are away, Randy, we began as close friends working in the campaigns of others, including David Shapira in 2012 and Harry Mitchell in 2008. And policy differences, Randy, have really tested our friendship over the years, and that saddens me, but we've gotten over it. But most recently, I'm so thankful to you for championing a prevailing wage and animal welfare. But I do want to tell you, it's QB, not Kubi. For 12 years, you've been calling me Kubi, and I'm finally standing up. No, but I'll miss working with you, Randy. And Jen, we began as election opponents, even adversaries, and we became close colleagues on the Sustainable and Livable Communities Committee. And I so appreciate the way you represent neighborhoods, the way you stand up and fight for our neighborhoods. And thank you so much for your warm friendship. And Robin, you know, we have been oppositional at times with some policy ideas, but when we work together, like you mentioned, with equal pay and with adaptive rec, we did such good things for our community. And I'm going to treasure those memories, Robin. They're some of my best memories of council. I think equal pay especially was one of the best memories I have, not just of you, but of council. And you've had such an impact in your 12 years. 12 years, you're an old lady, I'm the young one. But for education, veterans, affordable housing, adaptive rec, I mean, just the list goes on. And I know how much you love the city. And I'm kind of envious of the close family that you have, because I come from a very dysfunctional family. And I see your family, and it's so moving to me. I'm not referring to my immediate family, but my family back east. Wait till you meet my brothers. No, you don't want to meet my brothers. Anyway. Joel, it's been a really great ride. And I have loved, even you may not think so, but I've loved engaging in debates with you. And I know you're going to carry forward the transition to electric-powered landscaping equipment, and you're going to finish that work, and you're going to rid the city of styrofoam and plastic waste. We were on the Ban the Plastic Bag, Single-Use Plastic Committee together. But you make me laugh, you know, we spar together, but you're right, we're like brother and sister, although I agree I'm the much older sister. Remember when David Shapira retired, I actually referred to him as my special cousin, which I'll never get over saying that. Anyway, Joel, I just will treasure our memories of you. And Doreen, I so much wanted to be for you the way Corey was for me when I first got on council. And I know you will in turn pay it forward with Arlene and with Burdetta, and you're so prepared, always so prepared. There's nobody like you. I remember when we were meeting with Coyotes, I hope I can go there, but we were meeting with some Coyote staff a year and a half ago, and one of the Coyotes staff members said, "Oh, the council member's taking notes," referring to me. And I looked up and said, you think I'm bad? She's taking color-coded notes. And she's gonna file them all. I mean, you're so prepared for every action, every discussion. And then on the other side, you're such a profound voice for the unhoused, for those who are vulnerable in our community. If not for you, I'm not sure we would have seen the embrace of climate action, of equity, of the new Office of Animal Welfare. And I just say, carry on, Doreen. I will so miss working with you. Corey, I am not going to look you in the eye right now. We've been friends since you ran for office 17 years ago. 17 years ago. I remember we were in Casey Moore's and someone thought you were Barack Obama. And he's like, well, you stood up and then they knew you weren't a Barack Obama. You've been a sounding board to whom I can go to again and again for advice, for support, for critical thinking. And in your 2 terms on council, oh, I'm looking at you, and now as mayor, you've been the spark for affordable housing, for bold and innovative solutions. You approach staff and you say, I don't want you to stand back. I want you to say everything that's on your mind and that what you can bring to this issue. That's how Hometown for All got started, right? Because you asked council to go big and go bold. And you've always brought forward innovative solutions and just for showing us how it's done. And I've treasured the policy debates we've had. You know I love to engage in policy debates. And most of all, I treasure your friendship. I know your mother must be so proud of you up in heaven because you are just the most amazing human being, and you are such a great son to your dad. And I love you so much as a little brother, not as a special cousin, but a little brother. I don't know what we're going to do without, that's what she said, jokes. We'll have to find a way. But to the fresh crop of council members that are going to be sworn in next week, I wish you all the best. There is such potential, as Councilmember Arredondo Savage said, in this next council. And Burdetta has such a heart for public service and is a beloved person in the community. And Arlene, so connected to ASU and understanding the climate solutions and all that she can bring to the community as someone who's lived here her whole life and wants the best. I think she'll do amazing things. And I would say you have difficult decisions ahead. And the only advice, and of course it's unsolicited, but I'll give it to you tonight, to our new council members coming in, is there are words of wisdom that were given to me by Martin O'Malley. He was the governor of Maryland. And I had the privilege of hosting an event for him in Tempe. And I asked him, what's your best advice? I'm a new council member. I need some advice from a seasoned, he was a governor and a council member and a mayor. And he told me, vote as if you're never running for office again and you'll always do the right thing. And I've used that scheme, I've used that understanding many, many times in my council career. Remember quick quack? Quick quack. Too soon, but yes. And staff, I thought, like Robin, there's so many, and I would really keep you here all night, but I want to talk just about a couple people. And one is someone you might not necessarily hear about, but to me, he is emblematic of the city of Tempe, and his name is Robert Yabas. And he is close to retiring. He keeps threatening to retire, but he hasn't yet. And I think he's brought in probably hundreds of millions of federal and state and county tax dollars to pay for improvements for our roadways, for streets, building us complete streets. He to me is the heart and soul of a Tempe employee. And he's not here, and we didn't have a chance to say goodbye in council chambers, but Stephen Methvin is someone I always turn to help solve a problem that seems to be unsolvable. And I remember when I was first on council, he said to me after a meeting, Lauren, I noticed about you, you'll be upset about something, and it's clear that you're upset, but you'll just say, well, I'm sorry, excuse me, well, it's like you should just be proud and own what you're saying and be stronger in what you're saying. And that was really good advice he gave me. The rest of my colleagues are probably like, oh, maybe you should have been quieter with that advice. But I just want to recognize Stephen, and then, Andrew and Rosa, Tom and Keith and Sonia and Judge Kane and Carla. We have such a strong leadership team. You're so, this combination of heart and intellect and compassion. And I thank you so much for your patience in working with me, for your advice. I know sometimes those requests would come at strange times of day, and I didn't expect you to respond then, and sometimes you would. But I thank you so much. I'm really excited about all the innovative changes that are coming in Tempe government, and I really attribute your embrace of innovation and the way we make waves in the desert to you. Lastly, well, second to last, Braden Kay, Dr. Braden Kay, one of the first graduates in the School of Sustainability. And when he became our manager of sustainability and then our director, I almost felt I could drop the mic and walk away, because I had such faith. And I knew with our Sustainability Commission, which John Kane led, I knew that we were going to be in such good stead, but I wanted to stick around because it was fun. It was fun working with Braden in the Sustainability Commission and all the work that went into it. But Braden, we couldn't ask for a better person to shepherd us into a more sustainable and livable city. Kristen Gwynn, so she's my aide. And we first met in 2007. We were charter members of Arizonans for Obama. And I worked for her in Ohio, in Appalachia, rural Appalachia, as a volunteer. And in a strange turn of events, she came to work for me in city council. And she is committed, she is brilliant, she is kind-hearted, she's feisty as all get out, and she's willing to ruffle feathers sometimes to affect change and help people. So you can see how we have some things in common there. And I just want to thank you, Kristen. You're watching from home. You're also, I know, suffering from COVID, but I want to thank you for being by my side, for understanding my motivations always, and for being willing to tell me some hard truths at times. And you know the way my mind works like no other, even my husband maybe in some ways. So thank you, Kristen. I love you so much. You're my sister. So I ran for office to heed Barack Obama's call to run for local office, where he said change can really happen. And I wanted to see the city of Tempe embrace more sustainability and climate solutions and principles and practices of equity, because sustainability is so much more than energy and recycling and conservation. It's about equity. And I believed with all my heart, all my intellect, that cities are the incubators of innovation, they're the percolators of progress. And you might be surprised to know this. Some have accused me of just being a democratic ideologue, but for me, democratic ideology wasn't my driver. It was the knowledge and the passion that cities were the place to affect change. And if cities created 70% of our carbon emissions, then we had to be 70% of the solution. So I am so proud of all that we've accomplished together, Council. I took the sustainability baton, and all of us, from the Honorable Ani Shakurjian, who's continued to be a friend and be a sounding board for me. So I salute Ani for all her service and for getting the ball rolling and doing amazing things. And then we created this new Sustainability Commission. And John, you were the inaugural chair. Thank you for all that leadership. And then the Office of Sustainability and Resilience and Climate Action Plans followed. We had 100% renewable energy goal passed in 2018. We had Family Justice Commission, the first in the nation, and a Family Advocacy Center that's followed this year. Integrated pest management, thank you so much, Craig. We've set the stage for solar and EV-ready codes that we hopefully will implement, along with the International Green Construction Code coming up. I'm sorry that I won't be there to witness it, but I know we'll have colleagues that will carry that baton. And then campaign finance reform and dark money prohibitions and constituent services forever and always. We know how important it is fundamentally to be responsive to our constituents. And lastly, the Office of Animal Welfare. It's the first in Arizona, and it is modeled after New York City's office, and they've been mentors to us. I'm so proud of the work, and I'm so touched that the council supported that effort. So to all those that knocked doors and donated and advised me, to my brothers and sisters in the union movement who champion economic justice and fight for fair wages and collective bargaining, thank you. To those in the grassroots who joined me and challenged me, thank you. This one's going to be hard. For those who nurtured me, okay. Cecilia Esquer, and Andrea Esker, Herb Feibel, Lois Pfau, Beth Hoffman, Sue Ringler, and CJ Briggle. Your kindness has sustained me, and your memories will always be blessings to me. Let me just take a second, okay, guys? And then Linda Knudsen, Gail Shanks, and the entire Esker family, you are my touchstones. And Jenny Norton, most of all, you are my truest friend in this world. And I go to you almost weekly for counsel and advice, and I so admire you, want to be you. So you win friends and you build community when you run for office and you run campaigns. And when you serve, you can also lose friends. And there are family strains and sacrifices, as you mentioned, Councilmember Aradona Savage. I want to thank my daughters, Olivia and Nora, and this is the last time I'll say it publicly, but their nicknames are Oblivious and Ignora, and it's held true. And I want to thank also my son-in-law, Michael, for all of their good graces as I brought chaos into their worlds, into their lives. And Mike, my husband of 39 years, plus 4 in college. So he never imagined he'd be a political spouse beginning in his 50s. And I put a lot of pressures on him, but don't you be feeling sorry for him, because he's enjoyed the most excellent baked goods over the years. And even if they become all vegan, they are incredible baked goods. So my heart is full and grateful to Mike for our history together and for how he's sparked me to grow, yet stay myself. Ultimately, we do what we do in life to make our parents proud, don't we? So my dad, Joe Hackett, he was a character. If you guys think I'm a character, whoa, you should have met my dad. This is a really bizarre moment. I realized last night when I was writing this, but my dad died the exact age that I am today. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but it really, really struck me. And my mom, who slipped into the depths of dementia around the time I first got elected, she had warned me continuously over the years, don't roll your eyes, Lauren, don't roll your eyes, they'll get stuck in the back of your head. And so I swore that someday on council that was going to happen to me, and I've thought of that warning across the years, but then little did she know my daughter would become an eye doctor, so I got that covered. You know, when that happens, I can just call my daughter out from the dais here, and she can help reverse my eye roll. But I so wish my parents were here so they know that my memories of their kindness and conscience fill me up and sustain me every day. So you can probably realize that I have multiple streams of guilt that stream from me, and I've had much opportunity in my life due to my race and my class. I married a guy who is Jewish, and so I do consider myself culturally Jewish, so we have that guilt sometimes. And I have generational guilt of what kind of world we're leaving behind for our children and our grandchildren. And I have the knowledge that I will be a grandmother, or a Grammy, as we like to say in my family. I'll be a grandmother in December, and I want Nora Jr., if it's a girl, she is going to be a Democrat. I want Nora Jr. to know that I didn't sit silently by, that I stood up, that I was willing to stand alone at times to fight for what I believed in and to fight against what I think is the existential crisis of climate change. But today I am filled with gratitude with those that helped get me elected. Austin, Amy, and Zoe, they were my campaign managers in different campaigns. Zoe is now being written about in academic articles for the work she did with John Ossoff. She started a company called Relentless. She's advising the state of Texas. And Beto O'Rourke, I'm so proud of her. And David Shapira and all that he did for me in my first run and his advice over the years. And then, all the volunteers and the individuals and social justice organizations that partnered with me as well. Finally, I'm finishing up. Thank you to the residents of Tempe for those who engaged at every opportunity. David Sotolowski, are you watching? I know you're watching. I so treasure the comments and your engagement at every issue that we've seen in council. And I think of Nicole Galvan and Karen Lathan. They tugged on my sleeve and we brought new policies forth because of their passions and their expertise. And then John Kane, the first commissioner of the Sustainability Commission, and Kendon, who was your vice chair and now is the chair, and he was my first appointment to the Sustainability Commission back in 2014, and he has been such a force for change, and you mentored him, and Who knew, but this new budget would have 4 additional positions, an increase of 56% in its budget. But we have a new position in energy equity, climate justice, neighborhood resilience, climate policy, and grant writing. Who would have thought 7 years ago? Thank you so much to the Sustainability Commission for all that you've accomplished. And to those who fight for our neighborhoods, like Ron Tapscott from Tempe Neighborhoods Together, to Joel Carnejo from Semillas, and to those, lastly, who may have disagreed with me a lot, but they knew I would listen at least and try to help and make the city government more transparent and our city more livable. Thank you, friends. And in the words of Woody Guthrie, and I wish I could sing, I wish I could pull out a guitar and sing, but in the words of Woody Guthrie, so long, it's been good to know ya. Let's all sing. No, not really, but it's been my honor, and I will miss all of you and miss this time in my life. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. It feels so weird to have this one last item on here, but I'm just going in order. I should have switched this around. Item number 10, public appearances. Oh, I should have managed the agenda better tonight. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to come forward and address the city council? And if so, please come forward, state your name and city of residence for the record. All right, I'm going to close that one really quickly. With that said, just once again wanted to thank Councilmember Arredondo Savage and Councilmember Cubie for your service to the city of Tempe. You're both absolutely Tempe treasures, and we're all going to miss you. But just thank you for the memories and thank you for everything you've done. And as you've said, we're all going to continue to be friends, and neither of you are allowed to block by number. So. With that said, we are adjourned. Thank you so much, everyone.